beautiful day to have the conversations we're going to have today. And team, if we can please bring up Patricia and Jack Tavares up whenever you see them. Jack, Patricia, if you can raise your hands to help the team, that would be beautiful. And why is this such a beautiful day to share the story on Trajectory Tuesday? Because it's going to be an example of many things. And I will not pre-frame or steer the story in any which way, as Sean will be unveiling it soon. The reason why I feel the beauty of Trajectory Tuesday is so perfect for an example of the story is how life changes in a moment. How in a moment your mastery can literally change the trajectory of your life. Your lack of your mastery can change the trajectory of your life. And knowing what to do and subjugating your ego with the moments that happen in life can also shift the trajectory. And today is going to be a beautiful example of that. Before we jump into like the world of Unblinded, which we're all in right now, and thank you, and let's just take a second and let's ground on some love. So if you wouldn't mind, and you don't have to do anything, just putting your hand on your heart, just putting your hand on your heart, just really taking a moment to put your hand on your heart and give love for you, for your rising, for your family, your loved ones, your team, the people you care about, the people you don't even know, everyone on this call. We can step into that energy of love together. Because this is many things. This is a movement. It's a culture. It's a family. It's a tribe. And listen, we go hard, 5 wide. We have fun. We poke. We move each other to be at cause. And there's love. There's love. So for you, on just Trajectory today, what do you love? What do you love about the choices you are making on the rise of yourself, of your influence, and of your process mastery? You don't have to share it. Like, this is for you. This is to create the energy of today's call. Is what do you love about the rise of yourself, your influence, and your process mastery? What do you love? With your hand on your heart, step into that energy, because moments happen in an instant. It doesn't take a long time to choose. It takes a long time to decide to choose. Choosing happens in a moment. And it's in those moments, compounded over time with the rise of your mastery, that equal the money, the time, and the magic that we're all looking for. And talk about a place to practice here on the Huddle, the Tuesday, Thursday night calls. Oh, heck, your Real Raw opens, being the training and development like playground for every single one of us, the research and development laboratory for the rise of our money, time, and magic. So Mr. Callaghy out in the Central Coast, I don't even know if there's no such thing as a Central Coast, but not in the East Coast time zone. What's cooking? How are you? And welcome to your Huddle.
Hey, thank you, brother. And it's micro distinction, our Huddle for sure. But thank you for that beautiful acknowledgement, Fernando, of just saying my Huddle. Thank you. What is present for me is what day is it? And I'm only half kidding. I think it's Tuesday. I think Trajectory Tuesday.
It is.
And present for me is the ability to have 4, 5, 6, 7 days to make acceleration that would feel like a year or years in 7 days. And our teaching here at Unblinded, our sharing, and we're now anchoring on this. Unblinded is not a program. Unblinded is a state of being. Like, Unblinded is a state of being, right? Thank you, Jack Tavares. And Jack's gonna come up and share that in a minute.
Yep, they're both here.
Yep, thank you. And so it is unreal what can happen. And the second piece is we're going to begin, we've all of a sudden began to talk about causing leadership. And the reason we started talking about Unblinded as a sales training company in the beginning was because it was the most available and accessible dynamic. Somewhere like Amazon finding like books, selling books was like a very efficient way to begin, like the rise of Amazon. Speaking into sales training was a very available space and dynamic for us to gain awareness, to share, add value massively, share the application of formula to sales training. But like, it was never just that. And now we're speaking, of course, about sales and marketing, but now emergence of leadership. Because if we began talking about leadership from the beginning, it would have been very difficult to process because everybody has their own concept. They took a leadership course, do what you say what you do. It is very rudimentary, most of the leadership work that's out there, very basic, honoring all of it, but very basic. And what is present and rising here is that these huddles are, again, going to be non-publicly facing. They'll be only for people in the program soon. Whether that's December 1 or January 1, we have to just figure out the protocols for ensuring that and the efficiency of it. But we're rising here in our mastery. This is the place the huddle is about to singularly be. It's become that, but singularly be a place of rising of mastery. And I offer you the way to listen to the stories we tell is the prism of the lessons they speak into your leadership, your mastery of the formula. But there is no scaling without the causing of leadership. And with Jack and Patricia this morning, we're going to speak into some of that, as well as two outcomes for today. The discussion of like what leadership looks like will be second. First, anchoring on what can occur over time and what people would seemingly say would be impossible if we stay focused on our dreams for 23 years, how that can unfold and transpire. And we'll also begin to look and analyze at times, the opposite of leadership, and how we create division and how we create unnecessary wars and battles that don't advance any cause except or cries for help on our part or people's part and don't serve anyone or anything, and how easy it is to get lost in that. So first, good morning, Patricia. How are you?
I am well. How are you?
I am well. And where are you in the world now?
I am finally in Florida, but my body is exhausted.
I can't imagine. When did you fly out, Patricia?
I flew out yesterday and apparently missed my flight while I was still sitting in the airport. They changed the gate while I was waiting at the gate.
Wow. Sorry to hear that. So you had some traveling dynamics for sure.
I did, but as we lean into the universe, it's all intentional, right? So for me, it's the whole thing of just engaging with those around me and being very present. So it was totally fine.
Yeah. What was present for me, we've had the honor and privilege of spending time in a variety of ways. And the time spent here and experiencing you here, and the here, by the way, is in Arizona. We're at the Tony Robbins Platinum Partnership Spiritual Trip in Scottsdale, Arizona. Just is your elegance, your wisdom, your brilliance, the distinctions. You could just feel your thinking, your processing, your rising, and your mastery. And it was very, very present, and as well as your friendship and some of the fun we had. And I was immensely grateful for that, Patricia.
Thank you. I'm really I'm moved by those words. So thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. And Jack, I have, as I do for Patricia, so much respect for the things you've accomplished and do accomplish in the world. And brother, like the way you showed up here was like, just, hey, like, let's get stuff done. There was like this, like, sort of feel of let's go, like, make things happen. Just showing up at every turn, helping me in the room when, there were moments that Bella had to take care of other things. And even on team calls and Unblinded, your participation was remarkable. And it was a lot, and we had a lot of fun, man. And same as Patricia, just a lot of fun, a lot of laughs. I so enjoyed seeing your fun energy and connecting, and hanging out afterwards, and in the outdoor, area of the resort with all the people from the Tony world and others, and yes, Bella shared some of the jokes that the two of you shared. So we have some bones to pick, brother, and things that and wait, let's get Bella live as well, because I heard the sales gangster, sharing and speaking. So the sales gangster was rolling. Uh-oh.
Good morning, Jack.
What's up?
that is the Jack Bella dynamic is good morning, Jack.
Good morning, Jack.
And Jack be like, what's up? What's up?
Rule.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. We shared some really cool stories. It was a phenomenal weekend. I mean, it was just like awesome. And acknowledgement to Sean. I mean, you guys had to have seen Sean getting a standing ovation in the Tony Robbins room, in the Platinum room, by the whole place, as Tony gave the drop the mic acknowledgement to Sean in front of the whole fucking place, in the middle of an intervention, which is something he never does. And it was like the most magical experience ever to witness. And I was honored to witness it. Bella was honored to witness it. Patricia was honored to witness it. And it was just like, it was unbelievable. And like, brother, you totally, if anybody in that room deserved it, it was you. It was just amazing to be present to it. I was honored to be present to it. And it was just like an unbelievable thing. Sean was officially Jedi Knighted by the man himself, Tony Robbins, this past week. Just so you guys know the level of the shit that went on in that room.
Yes, 100%.
And you know what was also, I'm sorry if I'm yelling in your ear,
No,
but what was also really incredible was to look back at you, Jack, and watching you watch it happen and seeing the love that you had for Sean also. And just to like witness you witnessing it, I feel like there's not a lot of spaces where like you truly see, men, women, in those dynamics, like really just the love that pours and the admiration, just the witnessing and just the level of like, gratitude. Cause I felt like I could like sense, your gratitude also for being able to witness that moment and just, the pure, there's a word I'm looking for, but just the unconditional, love of that moment that you also had for a brother, a friend, a mentor. That was really amazing as well to witness.
Thank you. Great job. And we've
It was an unbelievable presence.
and so I want to speak into a bit, and Patricia, actually, just getting your feeling about that and what occurred, how was that for you, and what was present for you, and about that. But maybe Patricia, from the perspective of Tony's ability to cause leadership, because I wake up today and all I want to do is honor him, and all I want to do is be a better leader in honor of him, and to take his work and love for people in the world to more people, and to honor him as source. Like, he's caused my leadership, and yeah. So if you maybe speak into the experience from your perspective and those topics, and you Patricia, cause leadership at one of the most powerful, amazing, incredible companies in the world. We joke about it a lot. I love Disney. I love what you do. and who you are, and you're causing it there and causing it in the world. So if you, just share whatever is on your heart, and if you could touch on some of that, that's great. But whatever you want to share, please.
Yeah, I mean, the most intriguing part of that night is really just looking at the fact that I think it was Satguru who made this statement, that this is not a teaching, it is a transformation to get into consciousness. And when it comes to the way in which Tony leads, it is about getting into consciousness. And what was clearly apparent was that when he spoke to you and spoke of you in that room, it was a very clear transference of now on to the next generation. I give this on to you, and this is now yours. And I trust you with it. And that's what I saw. And so it was a very apparent passing on, not to say that Tony's going anywhere. It's to pass on to say, here is the energy, the faith, the fullness of what it is that I have instilled in you. And I know that you have the power to do more with, that you have the full grace and elegance to move forward with. And so it's the understanding of that. And I don't think anyone in that room really truly will grasp the fullness and the beauty of that moment until they start to see it fully lived out in other ways. But we did. We meaning Bella, myself, Jack, you, where it was, this is a moment in which Grace is kissing Sean's forehead. And that's what I saw when Tony kissed your forehead, when Tony placed his hand on his heart and then placed his hand on your heart. That was that transference. When he spoke to you being his mentor, like you being his coach, and him speaking those words, this is my coach, Sean Callaghy. Like that in and of itself was a very clear message to everyone. Watch this space and watch it very closely, because this is not a teaching. It is a transmission to get into consciousness.
Thank you, Patricia. And, as tears poured down my face as that was happening that night, please understand that there was not an ounce of me, and I can say this with all my heart, that was stepping into any feeling of significance.
Yeah.
It was the gratitude for what you, Patricia, are going to cause, and are causing, what Jack will cause and is causing, and Stacy and Scott Tennant and Frank Clark and TTP and Diana and Iron Man and Gina and Lorelai and Bella and everyone. And we have a choice in these moments, like the choice coming out of that could have been, let's put that on some t-shirts and videos and say Tony Robbins endorses Sean Callaghy, because he didn't not do that. But that would be gross.
Yeah.
It would be disgusting, and it would miss everything and destroy everything. And this is about the consciousness you speak of, the rising of how we come together and use business as a tool and a mechanism for positive change in the world. And if we treat it as though we are here to make some money and to do some coaching, then we have and I don't believe there's any failure, but we would have truly failed. Because the only way we can fail is to do that which is wrong. And wrong is a strong word I don't even virtually don't believe in, but wrong could be used in this context. And so this man, and I'm going to lean in here, and I wasn't contemplating saying this, truly has spent his life seeking to cause consciousness through transformation. I would call it freeing of friction, by causing leadership. And what has endlessly happened is his attempts to do so have often resulted in people stepping into their own ego and significance, taking, stealing, distorting. He had franchises at one point, he had licensees at one point. And eventually, like a king, and sort of like Willy Wonka, he eventually closed the factory doors. And he said that the way this will be done is through the largest rooms and mechanisms I can impact directly, and causing of leadership to go out there, but not using my technology. Because he didn't find people like Patricia, like Jack, like Adam, like Fernando, like Bella, like Diana, like Andres, like Susan Hum, and like all of you. And I feel that all of the things that he did and has done to cause incredible things in the world has set the context for this. And I can only hope and dream that we will be able to honor the trust in what occurred on that night. And the fact that Tony Robbins can have trust after all he has been through and seen in the world is perhaps the greatest statement of who he is as a human being, and his and Sage's undying faith in humanity, because they have seen it all and then some. And as you rise, each of you, and let's just study his model of the world. Like, as you rise, people do harmful and crazy things. While all of this was happening, there was somebody on their Facebook page, after I've given $250,000 to blind causes, like attacking, saying like, I don't care about blind people because the website's not accessible. And I honor the cries for help. And I fired 2 different people who didn't get that done. And we're a 10-month-old company. And the AFP is helping us do it, right? And I have no idea how to make it accessible. I don't even know what that means, but we have people who are working on it. I gave $250,000. Like, we're about to issue a press release to the AFP. And I'm not even making the people wrong at this point. I mean, the approach was so suboptimal, it was nuts, right? But that's going to happen. And they're like, it's going to happen. And it was such a gift, that occurrence, over the weekend, and its contrast for the elegance and the grace of Tony Robbins and what true leadership looks like, and why a couple of people who have beautiful intentions in the world cause no leadership. Like, the causing of leadership, there's a formula for it. And the reason things like the unemployment rate for the blind hasn't changed for 50 or 60 years is because leadership hasn't been caused yet. But it's about to. And it looks like all of us. And leadership is needed. Like, not being a leader with followers, like the causing of leadership, the multiplication, the amplification, the duplication, all of it is what it's here for. And if that night all we did, like, or from what just occurred was like, okay, let's go sell more stuff and like let's leverage this, like this would end. Like if that was the energy of what this is, this would be done. Like it would be done before we even started. And so as each of you go out and you're building, whether you're building in partnership with Unblinded, or you're just learning here and building your own thing or things, you know, your law firm, your accounting firm, your financial firm, your coaching firm, whatever, together or separate, there's a formula and a way to do this. And the formula applies to you whether you know the formula or not. Like it's applying at all times. And if we truly care about our outcomes, then we will, and all the people we claim to love, then we will rise in our mastery of the formula. And we will remember what I must remember, because there was times that I was so excited and so happy and so thankful in this journey. Since I, rejoined events in the Tony world after 15 years in 2018, January, that I was so thankful, and at times I was so disappointed. Like I had such hope and expectation for what was going to happen next in that moment. And when it didn't happen, I felt devastated. There were moments I even felt betrayed, not by Tony Robbins, but by other people and some of the dynamics, and so hurt. And I wanted to scream and to yell and to fight and to claim what was my right for what I did. And all these ego things rose inside. And then I remembered there's a formula, and it's applying right now. And then I remembered all the grace and what's been given to me. And that in 100 lifetimes, I could never repay what Tony Robbins gave me just from his very first book, let alone all the other things. Just the book, I could never repay. And so we sit in perspective. And I wrote on Father's Day, and then Patricia and Jack, go some final from you guys. On Father's Day, I wrote a post and I acknowledged about 30 different people who have been like a father to me, including a high school coach, my coach Slays, that coached me for 3 months of my life, to people that, interceded in even a lesser capacity and timing, but had profound impacts on my journey and therefore your journey. And our ability to honor source, to acknowledge source, is something that makes us an incredible leader and causes leadership. And what I mean by source is all of the people who came together to make a thing happen. And I called somebody who did things that required me to confront, and some of the hardest things I've ever done and step into in my integrity, a person, I put a boundary up and we have no communication. And I called this person on Sunday morning and I said, thank you. I said, this would not have happened without you. I didn't even tell him what it was, because even the telling of what it was could have seemed like I was rubbing it like in this person's face. So I didn't even say what it was. I just said, thank you. Some really beautiful, incredible things have happened in my life, and they never would have happened without you. And this person wept and said, I never thought I would hear from you again. And I know I did some things really wrong, but it made me question if you really ever loved me. And this is what's at stake in our leadership. And of course, I told this person how much I love them, how much I miss them, and how much that boundary needed to be in place and remain in place. But it doesn't change my love and my gratitude. So, Patricia, final from you this morning.
I want to definitely speak to meaning, because I know what I stated in my recollection of the experience of Tony's acknowledgement, if I don't speak to the meaning of it, others upon hearing it may give it an identity that's outside of the context of my meaning.
Yes.
So when it comes to the meaning of what I saw, and I guess a correction I also want to make is that I said that Tony said mentor, and he did not say mentor, he said coach.
Yes.
Is that what I saw is that what Tony was stating is that I found a friend who's joined the cause and you should know him. That's what I saw. That's what I heard. That's what I experienced. And so that was the meaning of what it is that I'm looking to identify to everyone and that I'm looking for everyone to connect with, is the fact that we are all a part of a bigger story, and we are all a part of a bigger movement in changing in transforming what society looks like, how it acts, how it engages, the ways in which it provides results, and how we move forward as one humanity in fully being. So that would be.
Thank you for that access and opportunity, because what I want to anchor on as well is my vision of what my relationship was to be with Tony was to take up more and more space on his stage. Like that was very much a part of my being, and not at ego and significance, that's how I thought I would serve in his mission, my mission, God's mission, the mission, right? And I've come to believe that is not at all what it is. And had it been that, it would have been so much less. So much less. And that was my realization over the course of the last 2 months, culminating in this weekend. And as we think about our work together, Patricia, Jack, all of us, please learn from the pains and the struggles and the stresses I experienced in this journey over the last 3 years of having nothing but truly the purest of intentions, but at times getting fixated on what I thought the outcome looked like and needed to look like. And so therefore at times was so confused and frustrated at different moments and things. And to only realize that it all worked exactly the way it should. And it always, always does. And we are going to have expectations. It's like, well, who's sitting next to you? And why are they sitting next to you? And who has this much screen time on a Real Raw or Real Raw Open? And whose things are you on? It's not about me. It's about you. And that's a part of what Tony was also saying, I think, this weekend. Right? Is go. Fly. And I'm open if there's ways to do things together.
Yeah.
But you have so much more of an expansive view of it. And by the way, I'm seeing that you do. And congratulations, because that's the leadership I was looking to cause in everyone.
Yes.
And model this. Don't follow this man. Model this and go forth. Is that a fair thing, Patricia?
Very. Yes. And thank you.
Well, thank you. We did that together. We co-created that together. That was beautiful. Thank you. Jack, final brother.
Okay, so going off of what you guys just said, which was beautiful, Unblinded, an ecosystem of leaders co-creating exponential growth in the world. From that perspective, being as a being instead of a thing, conscious leadership is what we're creating here. And Sean causing leadership in turn looks like everybody else causing leadership and continuing to co-create and exponentially grow. And that's part of what Tony did. That whole occurrence that happened in the middle of the craziest intervention I've ever seen him do, by the way. we won't even go to what happened in that, but it was the craziest intervention. I mean, lemons flying, chairs flying, and in the middle of it, he dropped that on Sean. So anyway, this is what it looks like. It's like leadership, like stepping into leadership. Everybody has the ability to be cause in the matter, creating leadership for others. I mean, this is just like this platform and the beautiful formula that Sean has put together. Sky's the limit. Like, sky's the limit. Let's just hit this shit and hit it hard and just take it. Like, really, like, make the change in the world. Let's be that. Let's be that change in the world. Let's co-create. Let's lead. Let's cause other leaders around us. It's just a beautiful thing. And I'm just honored to be part of it. And I was just honored that I was able to see and like unfold everything that happened this weekend or this week with you guys. So thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Unbelievable, brother. And for the beautiful phraseology of Unblinded, your source, and your source for your love, caring, ego subjugation, and just true leadership all this like week. And brother, it was incredible to see the leader that you are. So thank you, Jack. And and Fernando, well, and then Bella, I want to jump in with you. Fernando, this doesn't happen without you. There was a time when this company was ready to be done. That time was in the months of March, April, May, and this was ready to die. And you stood in the breach. You supported Adam and I in finding our way to communicate and see the truth. And if it not for you, this would no longer exist. And I've never said those words. I didn't intend to not say them, but in the melees of things that got lost in the historical record. And I believe that honoring source and historical record is critical. So I just wanted to do that, and it felt like a very appropriate time. So thank you, Fernando.
Thank you, Mr. Callaghy. And thank you, Jack and Patricia. There's much I want to say, and I will just say this. I am in my heart fully. Jack, you bring like fierce Zeus energy. You like spiked me there as soon as you spoke. And Bella, your goddess. And Sean, I'm so grateful for who you are and what you're doing in the world and what you're doing, you know, in the world of the Platinum Line ecosystem with Tony. Because last time I was with Tony, he was kicking me off the stage in front of 40,000 people for being a knucklehead. And as you said, he's been an example of grace to you. You are an example of grace to us and to me. And for everyone, we always have an opportunity to listen to these stories. Many, as a new heroic unique identity. One, as many, I'm not going to go down the list. And also an example of how we can apply ego subjugation, true honoring of source, and so many other beautiful qualities. And we're not listening to Sean. We're listening to his beautiful application of the formula. And we're listening to Sean.
Yes.
Thank you for putting that in context, making this happen, and continuing to make it happen. And for that acknowledgement as well.
Thank you. And Bella, I just want to say that Bella stepped into a very, very difficult space. She stepped into a space where people are like, who's this? People, you know, some people in Unblinded could have felt that way. People in Platinum Lions, like, who's this? What's going on? What's happening? You know, there's a inherent distrust of new when you come into highly developed, evolved situations. And the job that she did went from like, who's this, to be loved over 3 days. Like, beloved, not just accepted, beloved. It was unbelievably extraordinary to see that was accomplished. And what that meant for this mission was extraordinary. There was no ego. There was no significance. There was no me. It was service of this mission. Service of this mission. Tirelessly, heart-centeredly. And it was extraordinary to see. Bella Verita in these days helped give rise to your ecosystem equity. Like Ken Van Loo's ecosystem equity is higher because ours is higher because of Bella's being a cause in the matter. Thank you, Jack. Being a cause in the matter. And not just, you're like, why can't all of you name the person? Joe Hagen's, Diana's, TTP's, TNB's. We like acronyms and nicknames and initials here, right? Right. Jay Levine's, like, being cause in the matter, because that is a room of leaders and has much more to do together with that room. Much more to do together. And nobody's confused. Adam Gugino, final, brother.
Well, wait, before we go to Adam for final, I just want to drop in on this because I was thinking about this as Patricia was speaking. And the other thing that, like, as you're speaking, what became so clear to me is, you know, the ecosystem mergers and the rise of leadership. And, you know, and as I'm sitting over there and I'm like listening to Patricia, you know, I'm like, you know, I'm great, but like, I want to see more of Patricia. Like, that's what I want. Like, that's why it's like, and that, you know, what you've created in like the ego subjugation is like, it isn't about me. It's about, like, you know, what can I see with you, and how can we truly be an ecosystem that rises leaders? And I remember, you know, having a conversation with Patricia on the last night, and, you know, we were having a conversation about, like, you know, how can the women that do show up in leadership in the ecosystem rise up the other women, you know, and like Patricia and I having and talking with like Lorelai, and how can, you know, thus that are already in leadership positions within Unblinded, bring up more leaders within Unblinded. And that's what it's about. Like, I want to see more of Patricia. She inspires me. She is incredible and amazing. And just like how she puts words to things is like, just moves me in so many ways. And that's what we want to create.
Amen. And to that, we had conversations about that this morning on the internal call, and thoughts about how we, and, you know, Patricia's going to bring her gifts to the world as she sees fit, but things that I could see us all co-creating in every respect, including in the corporate space and the giant law firm space and these places and things that Jenna is about to start causing in the world. And there's extraordinary, limitless potential. And this is not like, there's no scarcity. There is so much. There's billions of people and hundreds of millions in America. There's just room for everyone, everything. We need an army and armies of people, like warriors for truth, you know, sovereigns, magicians, incredible people, to use some Tony language, right? Bringing the fun, aspirational goddess Zeus energy and the formula out there in every respect. The truth of the formula, like, it's applying whether they like it or not, right? And so that is very present to me, as is Gina's, Nicole's, Lorelai's openness to learning, growth, and ego subjugation as this weekend unfolded in so many incredible ways. So just amazing job. AG, final, and then I'm going to take it home.
I have to say that I've never, or up until this point, have not felt more seen, heard, and understood for everything we're doing. I am so absolutely grateful for the trust of Bella, Patricia, and Jack, and for them to be there with you in that moment. I feel like I was there with you as well, Sean, and to hear the description and the moments, I mean, the chills, the respect and the love for you. I know how much that meant to you and what that means for all of us. When you talk about things happening in life, I was overlooked multiple Christmas parties to become a partner in my previous organization. And I remember thinking in those moments, like, how could this be happening? How could I not have been given this honor to, you know, and be an owner? And I look back and I just have to thank God. I have to just thank God for those times, because otherwise I wouldn't be a part of this incredible community and movement. And we're here to make the world a greater place. You've said it from the beginning, and I am just honored to be a part. And thank you. Thank you, Sean, for showing me this way.
And final for today. Thank you all Thank you, Tony Robbins. Thank you, everybody who has shared today, and everybody in Elite, everybody in our programs, everybody in this movement, everybody who listens to the Huddle, everybody who comes on Monday night, everybody who's been on a Real Raw, will be on a Real Raw. Thank you. And I also want to thank Mona, because her trust in this process has been extraordinary, and I am immensely grateful for that. And so thank you to Mona as well, and for immense contributions that she has had along this journey and will continue to. So thank you there as well. Everybody.
And thank you, Tony. And thank you, Tony, for having business mastery and doing all that he's done.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tony Robbins, for the opportunity and the gift and the trust. And let's give trust to each other. Let's have effective and strong and healthy agreements and clarity, and confront and lean in, because just love doesn't make things happen. Jack said, like, let's effing go. Have a great day.